Worked for the French and was all too well aware that Belzoni worked for the British. In Drovetti, Belzoni had found a formidable rival.
How'd you like our new lodgings?
This looks good. Very good. Sarah, look at these. I think it's the same man.
Do you think he was married?
Ramesses had received his first harem when he was just 15. The women came from Egypt and beyond, from dark Nubians to fair-skinned Babylonians and Libyans. This wasn't just royal decadence. In ancient Egypt, pharaohs were expected to demonstrate their virility, a sign of approval from the gods. The majority of the women were concubines, chosen for the pharaoh's pleasure. But their children would not become heirs to the throne. To produce his successor, the king needed a high-born woman. Nefertari, an aristocrat, reputedly of great beauty, appears to have been the genuine love of Ramesses' life. By bearing his first son, she became his great royal wife. By the time he came to the throne, aged 25, Ramesses had produced 10 sons and 2 daughters. His father and the gods would have been pleased. The pharaoh's responsibility for fertility went far beyond the royal family. It was his first task to please the gods and protect the harvest. In a land virtually without rain, the only lifeline for its people and their crops was provided by the annual flooding of the Nile. Once a year, the waters would rise, covering the fields and nourishing the crops with a rich black silt, making Egypt one of the most fertile places on earth. If the floods failed, it was disastrous. But the gods smiled on Ramesses. In the first years of his reign, he recorded bountiful floods. The silos were full, proof that Ramesses was indeed Egypt's rightful and divine ruler. But what was a blessing for Ramesses was to prove a curse for Belzoni. The flood season of 1816 was advancing rapidly. In a month's time, the whole area up to Ramesses' temple would be underwater, making it impossible to move the head. Plotting his route to the loading point on the riverbank, Belzoni had to choose between the safety of a longer path on high ground or the more risky route across a dip. The whole of Giovanni Belzoni's future in Egypt depended upon his successful completion of this mammoth task, a challenge that had already defeated his French rivals. And up to now, Belzoni had failed at all the major challenges in his life.
It's almost noon. Come on, Jim. He promised to send me men.
What you gonna do?
I'm going to tell that lying snake. Catch! He does not cheat, Belzoni.
Giovanni?
Now, it is possible they got lost on their way, but somehow I don't think so. And if they don't turn up this afternoon, I shall have to write to the Pasha and tell him people do not do as he says in Luxor. I don't suppose you'd want that.
It will not help you, my friend. The letter to Pharaoh will take 4 weeks there, and
4 weeks back, by which time the floods will have come. So, maybe you would like a little present. Here is a bag of the finest coffee. Helps clear the mind. Helps a man think clearly. And also here, a bag of gunpowder.
that's very kind of you. But I'm not sure that
What would make you sure? These are very beautiful guns. Worth, what shall we say? 40 men each.
You think you can trust him?
No, but I'd break his neck if he does anything.
He could use those guns against you.
He could try.
Mr. B, look. You think we're in business?
One, two, three, At last, on the 27th of July, I moved the head.
Belzoni was a practical engineer. The technique he devised for moving Ramesses' bust was identical to that used by the pharaoh's own builders when they first hauled it to the temple 3,000 years before.
On the 1st of August, we still improved in our success as we this day proceeded above 300 yards. But being in the hottest season, the air was inflamed. I am at a loss to conceive how these Arabs existed as they undertook this task. An exertion of such extremity amid heat and dust that would be far more than any European could have withstood.
Why don't you stop?